Award-winning author and historian Kerriann is the author of 10 books and has been featured in numerous publications, including the New York Times, Newsday, the New York Daily News, and Distinction Magazine. She has appeared on CBS's Sunday morning show Ticket with Laura Savini, News 12 Long Island, and The Thinking Writer in East Hampton. Kerriann served on the Board of Trustees as first Vice President for the Huntington Historical Society for 6 years, and she served as a trustee for the Green Lawn Center Court Historical Association for 3. Kerriann is a recipient of the Top Advocate for Historic Preservation and Education Award from the Oyster Bay Historical Society, the Huntington Heritage Education Award from the Town of Huntington, Woman of Distinction Award from the New York State Assembly, and awarded one of the top 50 women in business for 2022 from Long Island Business News. Kerriann is also a food writer and was a contributing writer for Edible Long Island for 5 years, where she had her own column, Kerriann Eats. Kerriann is President Emeritus of the Long Island Authors Group and is a well-known speaker who draws standing room only crowds to her lectures, as we can see. Let's give her a very warm welcome.
So I like to think with this book in particular, because of my relationship with Padre Pio, that I co-wrote it with him. So I was doing all this work with the nonfiction books for all this time. And I wrote the medal, and then I went back to nonfiction. And about 2 years ago, I kept saying, well, I got to write another book. I've got to write my 10th book. And I want it to be something that's really good and profound. And I was hearing Padre Pio saying, you got to write a book with me. I'm like, write a book with you? How do I do that? So I came up, I always like daily devotionals, and towards the end of the year, I always look for a book that I can get, to start the new year off that has some inspiration. Sometimes they're religious, sometimes they're just feel-good books. So I thought that I would write this devotional, and I set out to find 365 of Padre Pio's quotes. So I said, oh, that's pretty easy. Well, it's more than you think. The book took me over 2 years to write. I went through his letters, tons of books on Padre Pio, tons of research from prayer groups and different Padre Pio foundations throughout the country. And it took a long time to find it. And sometimes I would have to sit and actually try to listen and say, well, what do you want me to say here? How can I convey this message to people? So how I've written it, I'm not saying you should be doing this or you should be doing that. I also don't say that I did this and I did that. So one of the big parts of this book is trials and sufferings. We all go through them. And we always say, why is God doing this to me? Why do I have cancer? Why do I have this? Why do I have to suffer? Why did Jesus have to suffer? He didn't do anything wrong. He was without sin. And yet he had to suffer, and he suffered for us. So we have to realize that suffering is part of this life. We think this life is long, but it's not. It's very short, it's temporary, and it's what we are going to do with this life that makes the difference. I touch upon how to get more faithful. How do you do these things? If you want to have a better relationship with God, if you want to improve your own life spiritually, how do you do that? Padre Pio has an answer for that as well. So these are the types of things I have included in the book, and I hope it brings people comfort during your darkest moments, and that you realize that faith is believing in things that you cannot see or cannot even understand. So for me to come out and share these things with you was a big leap of faith. But I realize how much my experiences and what I have gone through and what I have learned from Padre Pio can help other people. And that's what we're here on this earth to do, really. We're here to move forward with grace and to move forward helping others to be humble and to appreciate with gratitude what we have every day. And when you go through these hard times, you see more, okay? Where maybe there's an older person that's struggling with a walker. Maybe 20 years ago, you would have passed by that person, oh, this person's in my way, they're taking so long. But after being a caretaker, you notice that. Can I help you with this? Let's say a prayer over this person. Do something that can help them. So our terrible, terrible experiences, we could hate the world, hate God, but we could also find good in the horrible things that happen to us. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. So maybe you're not ready to do that right now. Okay, maybe you're just in the thick of it. Maybe you just got a diagnosis or you just lost your husband. You're hurting. Take that time for the grief, like I said. But then after a while, say to God, what do I do with this now? That's what I did. What do I do with this? And he told me, write the medal. And he told me again, write this book. And then you see how much you can help other people. So that's what the book is pretty much about. I will leave you with this. You have two choices in life. You could either hate God, be angry, be bitter, not move on, and not enjoy life. Or you can run to God, you can enjoy life until we meet our loved ones again. So which will you choose? Thank you, everyone.